When you have a podcast, you always have content. That's the struggle in the marketplace today, guys. A lot of the struggle in the marketplace today is people don't have enough content. A lot of podcasts become very inconsistent. They say there's a rule that only a very small percentage of podcasts make it past 6 episodes. I believe that reason is because hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is all about how to start a podcast in 2024. So before I tell you guys how to start a podcast, I want to talk about our journey, how we got to where we are, because it's crucial in helping you start your podcast. Now, just to kick off this, guys, I think starting a podcast now is one of the most smartest things that you can do. Whether you're just a regular person, right? You have a life, you're a mother, you're a father, whoever you are, right? Maybe you just want to have a purpose, or you do have a purpose and you want to be able to spread that out there. I believe a podcast is something that can be incredibly powerful for you and your family. But let's specifically talk to the business owners out there, the entrepreneurs, and the power of having a podcast. Now, I believe if you're watching this video, you've thought about it, it's been in your imagination, but it's all about taking action. Like, how do I actually do this? Because to the outside, it actually may look like it's very difficult, right? But it really isn't, and that's what I want to explain here today. So when we started the podcast, I was already a YouTuber, so I had a camera, and we literally just said, hey, we want to start a podcast, we want to start talking about stuff. We didn't have any microphones. We had a camera. We were lucky enough to get a microphone, but it was like a Rode microphone, like it has a stand and everything, full on professional. If you go on Google, you'll be able to find it. You can maybe see it here on the side. I want to see if I can show it to you. It's a bit heavy, so I'm just gonna leave that there. But basically, you can use the internet out there, you're gonna find plenty of things, but basically you wanna have a camera. And look, I want it to be a very low barrier of entry for all of you guys, right? I wanna make it tangible for everyone who's watching this video. So literally, you can use your iPhone. If that's all you have, you can use your iPhone. You might need a lot of space, don't get me wrong, but you can use your iPhone, right? Start it off. Obviously you need a camera. So you want to have a camera which you have an iPhone. If you need help, now there's Canon cameras and the specific cameras that you can go in. I can see if I can put a link in the description. If not, I'm just working on getting our affiliates with the equipment, but you can get a Canon camera that you can buy, right? So let's say you buy 2 cameras. I like recording a podcast with 2 cameras. Now, actually, let me answer the question, should it be a video or audio? Well, video podcast is the most powerful thing you can do, because video podcasting is the future. Especially here in Australia, a lot of people just do audio, right? No, maybe because it's easier for people, but I would say video is the best thing you can do, because people want to connect with you. They want to see it, right? Like, a lot of people are driving, they're in the gym, they're listening to podcasts on audio, which is great, but my principle in life is why not have both, right? And what we actually do is we put our video on Spotify so you can actually watch it, but then let's say if you're doing something, you can just lock your phone, you can put it away, and you can also listen to our podcast. So we have audio and video combined, right? Why not both? You're gonna have video, audio, podcast, right? So you have your cameras. I say 2 cameras, so you have 1 camera on you, 1 camera on your co-host. You can start a podcast by yourself, or you can have a host do it with you. Like me, I have my father. But let's say I go in and interview an entrepreneur, I have another guest. So you can do it with a co-host, or you bring on guests. You bring on people that you can speak to. And you can do this with anyone. Again, you're an entrepreneur out there, do it with your co-founder. Do it with someone within the business. Do it with a customer you can bring on the show. Do it with a client, right? Like, you can really do this with anything and a low barrier of entry. So let's go. 2 cameras. Let's say we want an ideal situation. We have 2 cameras. As you can see, boom, you set up your cameras, take time to have a look at it, right? So that's on the outside appearance of having a podcast. So you have, let's say, 2 cameras, you have now a microphone. So now here you can see we have the Rode Wireless 2 Go. So you can have a wireless microphone, which kind of keeps you on the go, which I like. You can have, let's say, a studio. Let's say you go to a studio, right? Because there's different ways you can do it. You can invest in having all the equipment yourself, which is an investment, but it's great because you can either have a built-in studio, or you can always be on the go and you just carry a wireless microphone, you carry your cameras, you carry a bit of lighting, and you're good to go. You can record a podcast anywhere. So, what you can do is just hire studios, right? So let's say, hey, we're gonna record a podcast episode once a week or twice a month. That's still okay. So what you can do is you can go in, hire a studio, you pay the money, and they even actually package everything for you. Some may edit it for you, some may just give you the hard files, whatever the case is. But you can actually go to a studio that's already built in everything. Go in and do your thing, go record your podcast, and then you have the files to edit, which is what we'll come to. So that's really how to get going. That's really all you need. And then in terms of the distribution side of things, you need to join a distribution platform. There's Spotify for podcasters, there's Apple, there's many RSS feeds. It's, again, you just got to Google these things. So you find an audio distribution to put out the platform, and then now your video distribution, which now we put on YouTube, which is quite heavy. YouTube has a podcasting section. So now you have your cameras, you have your equipment, you have your co-host, it could even be you yourself, right? What I want to do for you guys is, the games have changed, right? There's no rules to this. Like, me and Dad will go out for dinner. I'll say, hey, bring the camera. We'll maybe even just have one camera. Bring the camera, put it up. We have our microphones, boom. We'll just record a podcast conversation, eating, talking, right? So the games have changed, but usually you have a setting where you're sitting down. So now you've got your podcast, and again, it's just authentic, it's natural. You're talking about what you love, you're talking about your passions, and now I want to teach you to use your podcast, especially as an entrepreneur, as a media company. I've said this many times, you guys can see in a lot of my content. Now your podcast becomes a media company. So what you do is you have your content. You can put in advertisements. So hey guys, this video is brought to you by the Authority Scorecard. If you guys want to learn more on how you can become an influential person in your space, the link in the description will take you to fill out a fun quiz where you can learn about how powerful your brand is. You can assess it, you can assess yourself in your industry, and then we can have a look at your results and see if maybe you are a perfect client for us, or how we can actually just help you on your way. That's an advertisement. That's what we do. We have a scorecard for our personal brand. So you just see how I did that there, an advertisement in. So now let's say every episode, you guys, now, okay, you've got the episodes out there, and now you're putting in advertisements. Now as the podcast is playing, boom, you cut into an advertisement. Just like TV, just like television. That is your podcast. That's how powerful it is, right? So that is how you start a podcast. Now with the podcast, gone and recorded an episode, you and your co-founder, you and your father, you and your friend, you and your sister, right? It's been an amazing episode. You talked about your business, or how you started your business, and how you're so passionate about what you do. You recorded the episode. Now you have the hard files for that. Now you need to edit it. That's something that a lot of people shy away from, and it's why a lot of podcasts become very inconsistent. They say there's a rule that only a very small percentage of podcasts make it past 6 episodes. I believe that reason is because of the editing. You know, you've got to edit a full episode, and that is time consuming. Yes, it takes time. And then not only that, you edit the podcast, but then you got to now market the podcast. But let's take a step at a time. So editing the podcast, if you learn how to edit, or you know how to edit, you just got to find time. I know you're a busy person, you're an entrepreneur. If that is a problem, that's where now you pay someone to help you do that, right? You pay an editor. I started editing it myself personally, because I've been editing and I always have just been on this go myself. So I started editing myself, and now we have built a team. So I have a team now where we have, once you edit the podcast, we have that great, which is good. And then you see, we kept working on our craft. So in the YouTube world, I always learned to put in a trailer, which is editing the suspense, what's going to be in this podcast episode, right? So you have your trailer, you have the full episode, that's done. Then you have a thumbnail for YouTube. So now we have a team where we have an editor or editors, thumbnail designer, right? So this is the package of the whole podcast. So the reason I'm saying that to say is, you may have to hire that. We're here for that as well. If you need help editing your podcast, which can be a challenge, let us know, link in the description. My email's down there, or you can fill out a scorecard and let us a little bit know about yourself, so we can now help you edit that podcast, because that's what you want to do, right? Imagine that, again, if you want to do this yourself, right? Let's say you don't have the potential to outsource that, right? Just get the episode, find time within your week, or whoever in your team, edit the podcast, and now you're gonna put out the podcast. You're gonna put it out to the world, and then through that, you can break little great moments within that podcast, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 20 seconds that were great, that were funny, that were entertaining, that was about your business. And now you can use that as marketing material for the full episode. Again, when you use that as marketing material, it engages people. People see it on TikTok, people see it on LinkedIn, the ones that you edited. And again, if you hire a team like us to do that, we can help you with those clips for now that can just help you get engagement. A lot of people, again, why I say your podcast is a media company is because now, let's say you've had a great podcast and a lot of your podcast is about your business, it's about how you solve problems for people. Now you guys can use short form content from that and run ads. You're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you don't always have to rely on creating content. That's the greatest thing about a podcast. When you have a podcast, you always have content. That's the struggle in the marketplace today, guys. A lot of the struggle in the marketplace today is people don't have enough content. How do I make it? I gotta do this, I gotta do this. If you have a podcast, whether you set it up with cameras like this, whether you go to a studio, now you have all the content in the world. And now you can run ads against that content. You can put that 30, 45 seconds where you're talking about your business that's valuable, that's emotional. Maybe it's something that has nothing to do with your business, but it just intrigues someone, right? Now you can run ads against that. You have a plethora of content, and that's what we do when we manage other people's podcasts. We give them so much content that now they can use for promotional, but also for their marketing. It's building a media company around your business. It's building your marketing even in-house. So let's say you partner with a team like us where you just need help managing the podcast because you want to focus on recording, you want to focus on your business and what you're good at. Now you have a plethora of content, right? You always have that. And so what you're going to do is just stay consistent and keep recording episodes. So now you have your podcast, you have all the content in the world. So again, you have the full videos getting edited, you have a great trailer in there, you have great value. Again, you learn things as you go. You see, like, we've always been developing our product, as you can say. We've always been developing our podcast. For me, I was always very strict on like, okay, we need to get a good trailer. Like we always, and I'd watch other trailers and watch other podcasts and I'll still do that till today. Is just because, again, this is our media company, this is our media funnel. And the great thing about a podcast is it's over an hour, usually an episode. It can be 30 minutes to an hour, right? And when you can keep people watching or listening to a video for that long, what that shows to the algorithms is that people like this, and it's gonna push that out more because of course they want people on their platforms longer. They can serve ads to. So, and it's just so powerful. Like I talk about this so much, like if you can have watch hours of people listening to you, watching you for hours and hours and hours, like over an hour, right? Like if I show you guys our analytics on the watch time, it's powerful. That's how you build a community. People are gonna just wanna buy from you, right? Even some podcasts I listen to, I've bought from people because I listen to that person again and again and again on podcasts and podcasts and podcasts. And I trust them, like they're so valuable. I can relate to them, their interest in what I'm in, and I've bought from people, right? And that's so powerful. Like it just naturally and authentically becomes, it draws revenue for you, and this happens over time. And that's why this is so valuable. That's why what we do is so valuable. And our prices are at a valuable price because we're building a media company behind your business. Some businesses don't have the power to have a big marketing team. But now, again, the distribution has changed, right? We own distribution. So you can partner with a media company like ours. You can partner with a small team like ours or whoever else, or you have it in-house, and you can grow an empire around your business through a podcast, right? It's so powerful. So, you want to have these episodes coming out consistently. What we do on our show is because we're strict on consistency, is like I want to upload every single day. Every single day I want to upload, and that's what we are doing. Is we break things down. So you have a full episode, which is 45 to an hour. But let's be honest, right? It takes time for people to get to that point where they're gonna watch your show up until that long. We still get that, right? We'll get low views. I don't care about that because I'm just proud on that consistency. Let's just keep showing up in the marketplace. Let's just keep putting out content, So we upload, let's say if it's an hour episode, again, this comes with strategy, and this is why it's great to work with people in the field. Again, you can learn that on the go, or again, you can partner. But what I mean by that is now we break up that content. So now you have the whole hour interview, but we'll break that up into 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, things that were valuable, great. And then in all of those clips, we put in advertisements. Again, over time, the bigger you get, this becomes a revenue stream, and the longer a video is, the more money that gets paid out. That's why the big podcasts that get quite a lot of views, they get paid a lot of money. Again, if you're in entrepreneurship, it's your CPM. So if you're in entrepreneurship space and now you've grown your podcast quite well, a lot of money will be put into your video because YouTube knows that's an entrepreneurship video. It's highly likely for people to buy on those ads. So now you just earn a lot of money. So you guys see how just revenue streams, income. So if there's any other questions that you guys have, if I didn't answer any of your questions, let me know. Someone amazing I met on LinkedIn gave me this idea of like, yo, I need help starting a podcast, kind of ideas on how to do it, and she needed help. And she was like, you should make a video on this. So I was like, this is good, right? To speak to community, speak to people, and I can now create content from that, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful, and I hope you can learn from me. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. We need more subscribers. We need more likes. If you enjoyed it, we're just gonna keep showing up to the marketplace. I hope you guys have a fabulous day. God bless you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.